Today we're trying BMX photography for the first time. I'm here with Stefano, Mike, our BMXer, and David, who's behind the camera. So let's get into it.
Now, the catch, the problem with this photo shoot is that Stefano and I only had 20 minutes to record, which might sound like a lot, but when you're trying a new type of photography, when you're working with talent and you have a team of people that you're trying to coordinate, it's really not a lot of time. And usually when I'm doing something like this, I try to have at least 3 hours to get set up, to make sure all the settings are correct, and to make sure we walk away with everything that we need.
I've never done BMX before, so I'm just gonna let you go around the track and I'm gonna get an idea of what looks good, and then I may run up and just snap the photo.
Cool.
All right? Got a 12 to 24, which is my secret weapon. And I'm gonna have to put it into burst shutter mode if I can figure it out, because is he coming this way?
Yeah, get off the track.
Oh gosh. Oh geez. I'm so overexposed. Oh gosh.
Oh, sick.
He's already started, and Anthony is struggling.
You're gonna notice that some of the clips, some of the footage is a little bit shakier and maybe a little bit more out of focus than what you're used to seeing. And that's because, for whatever reason, the IBIS got turned off on the camera that we were recording on, or maybe I just forgot to set it up. Either way, I apologize in advance. The video is gonna be a little bit more like a Michael Bay film than what you're used to seeing. But if you can look beyond the shaky footage, I think you'll really appreciate some of the lessons that we learned and some of the photos that we walked away with.
So you did this right here, which was cool. You kind of like flew over.
Yeah, I jumped from like this to this, yeah. Stand about here.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm gonna come from right here, try to land right over there, so.
I won't move.
Yeah,
I trust you to know your spacing. Okay, so I burst, oh my gosh, I totally missed the frame. That was like so high.
I gotta catch my breath.
Yeah, please do. That was so high, I didn't realize how high you were gonna get. I'm actually gonna flip around because he was backlit. So you come here and I'm gonna come over here. If I do this, you'll literally be flying in the air. So I think that will look cool.
So I struggled at the beginning of this shoot, and that's really because everything was new to me. So shooting with BMXers, shooting at this location that I had never been at, and shooting with a Sony camera, which I don't normally do, and so it takes me a little bit longer to find all of my settings. But what I do know are the principles of photography. So I know that I have a fast moving subject, and I'm probably gonna need a faster shutter speed of 1/800 or 1/1000. And I know that I need a burst shutter, so that when I click my shutter, instead of taking one photo, it's gonna take multiple photos.
Okay, so that one I definitely got, but I realized I could be closer.
Coming again, coming again.
Is he coming back?
Oh, sick.
Oh my gosh, Stefano, you wanna give this a try?
All right, yeah. I want to get some trick shots, but I also want to just get a sick portrait photo of you on your bike. Yeah, something like this. Yeah, come over here. Like that, perfect.
So Stefano's doing something very smart, which I think any photographer should do, which is when you're in a situation where it's new, rely on something that you've done in the past. So in this case, because Stefano knows portraits, he's framing the subject with an element that's familiar to him. So Mike is familiar with the BMX bike. He knows how to pose. So now he's already got like one good photo, whereas me, I made the mistake of just starting with trying to do an action shot, which one, I'm on a camera that I don't know, in a place I don't know, with a subject that I don't know. So I think Stefano is already making the right decision.
So rather than what I did, where I immediately jumped into trying to get the action shots and maybe failing, he knew that if all else failed, he would at least walk away with a nice portrait of Mike, which I kind of stole his idea and then did the same.
This was sick.
Mike, can you come right to the edge here with your bike? I dig it.
That's dope.
I dig it. Oh, hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. This is sick. 12 millimeter. Yeah. Oh, this is sick.
Yeah, that's dope.
Just get rid of that garbage can later, you know, in Photoshop.
Sony makes a really cool 12 to 28 millimeter lens, and that's not a fisheye, that's a rectilinear corrected lens, which means it's really awesome for doing things like environmental portraits or getting these really wide shots where your subject is either really small in the frame, or you can choose to exaggerate certain elements. So with a wide angle lens at 12 millimeter, you can have things that are really close to the lens, and it kind of exaggerates that distance between, you know, maybe Mike holds out his hand, or I get really low to, you know, capture a photo that's from the ground and his shoe and his bike are kind of in frame, but then you get that really exaggerated depth effect that's not normally what you would get with something like a 24 millimeter lens if you were doing that environmental portrait, or even a 35 or a 50 millimeter lens.
He's hitting this one again.
Jeez, that was wide. I got the camera, I got everything, but
You went way higher than I anticipated.
he's literally over your head. That's insane. What's like low energy for you to do?
Nothing.
Okay.
Let's go around one of like the tops.
Yeah, like something like here might be cool because we got the trees in the background. Honestly, I think this would be cool because then we got the other ramp and the trees.
Can you manual over these? Yeah? Okay, give me 1 second.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, you know what? That was sick, Mike.
One of the biggest mistakes I see new photographers make when they're working with the talent or working with the model is not being sensitive to the needs of that talent. And this applies to portraits that you're taking of a friend, maybe you're doing an engagement session or wedding photos. The best photographers that I've worked with bring an energy and an awareness to their shoots. They're not distracted by their camera and their camera settings. Like, you know, you've probably been in this scenario where, you know, you mess something up and you're like, oh crap, like I messed that up, and you start talking to yourself and you're projecting that. Well, that can really take away the confidence that the talent has in you as a photographer to really nail your job. So I'm not saying you can't have problems with your camera or with your shoot, but you as the technical photographer, those are the things that you need to work through. Your talent doesn't care whether or not your camera shutter speed is too slow or too fast. And that's maybe where you'll see a little bit of a difference when you're watching me share a tip with you, is that I'm sharing it with you so that you know what I'm experiencing. But if I was working with a regular client, I wouldn't be telling them my ISO or my shutter speed or my aperture. I would say maybe, okay, give me 1 second. I'm just gonna make sure my camera settings are correct before we continue. Or maybe you're having a little bit of an issue with your talent because they're not doing something or doing the pose exactly the way you had in mind. Well, make sure you communicate those things, but communicate them in a way where it's like, hey, that was really awesome. Do you think you could try it a different way? Or in my case, I kept missing Mike's shot where he was just like flying over. And so at one point I go, well, like how high are you actually getting? And Mike is a tall guy. He's like 6 foot something. And he comes over and he goes, well, I can go like this high. And he raises his hand to like, 8 feet above his head. And I'm like, okay, so like, he is really flying and I need to make sure I'm pointing more up so that I don't miss him. Because Mike is a pro, he knows what he's doing and he's really putting all his energy each time he like flies up and hits that trick. And you'll notice, he does kind of say, hey, like, I can't do this 10 times in a row. I can do it, and then I need a little bit of a break to recover so that the next time I do it, I'm also hitting it just as high. You'll notice that Stefano is also encouraging him and saying things like, hey, that was sick, that was awesome, can we try that again? And so even if you're just giving them words of encouragement, or maybe in that downtime in between resting, you can say, hey, like, Mike, like, how did you get into this? How high can you jump? How long have you been doing BMXing? And really developing that like normal communication with your talent so it feels like you're actually interested in what it is that you're doing. And in this case, of course, I'm super interested because I've never shot BMXing before. So I wanna know everything that Mike, as a pro, can tell me so that I can get the best shots possible.
I didn't even look. Let's see if it's in focus. It's in focus. I just didn't frame it right.
I got it, that was sick.
You're jumping up, and you're going over and down.
And landing right there.
Are you're doing a rotation?
No, I'm just gonna.
You're just gonna hit it.
We're just gonna do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a photographer who loves variety in my composition. Like, rather than having one shot that is nailed perfectly, I'd rather have 20 shots that are like 80 or 90% good so that I can walk away with more variety in my compositions. But because we were time limited, if I had more time, I probably would have had him do a bunch of other tricks that weren't as energy intensive. Lighting was also a challenge in coming up with those compositions because midday when the sun is harsh, it kind of limits the directions that you can shoot in and the types of tricks or compositions that you can pull off in each of those locations. Also, this wasn't Mike's first time working with photographers. He actually made a comment to us at one point that he's been riding and shooting with photographers for like 20 years. And so the tips he was giving us was based on his experience with working with other pro like BMX sports photographers, which we found really valuable.
I'm gonna take whatever's mine.
Oh, that's sick, man.
Get to the top. I'm gonna take whatever's mine.
My takeaway is that with BMX and physical stuff, you can hear how tired Mike is. And so we had literally 20 minutes to do this shoot. And I think if you're doing this, it's like you need an hour to like really nail it, because you know this guy knows.
Actually take the proper breaks.
And you've also scouted this location previously, so he knew like this is the biggest jump,
Big jump.
and where all the cool spots are.
For what we had, we got what we got.
It's not bad, and I think
Probably worked out pretty well.
yeah. Stefano's still back here trying to snag some last-minute portraits, but
tattoos look sick.
Yeah, Northwest is all about.
thanks to David
Got you.
for being the camera guy.
I think the invoice up there.
He's gonna.
I think if you understand the basics of photography, like shutter speed and all that, you can basically shoot anything. You might not have the skill set
Yeah.
to be able to like shoot or you know the right angles, but it's interesting. Like it was a cool experience. And Mike knows what he's doing, so it's like
It's just like us, just for me, same with you guys, practice, you know, and you just figure out, you shoot from all these different angles and something's gonna come out, right? Like,
yeah. And it helps that he knows what he's doing. So like he's even like, yeah, you can shoot it from there and you can shoot it from here. Like he knows.
Yeah. I mean, I've been shooting photos for like 20 years now with photographers, and this is, you kind of just remember where people usually stand when they're shooting something.
I took a look at Mike's Instagram page before we came out, and he's got some sick photos, so check him out.
Check it out, Mike Hoder1 on Instagram.
Going back to review my technique, there were two specific things that I did that allowed me to get the shot. The first was that I picked my frame knowing where my subject would be, and that I actually followed them into the frame. So rather than just holding my camera waiting for them to appear, as Mike was coming around the track, I kind of like got him framed up where I was thinking. The autofocus latched onto him, you know, giving my autofocus more time to nail the shot and capture him, and then followed him to the position where I wanted to capture that shot. The other thing I did was that I started to shoot before the photo that I actually wanted to capture. So I mentioned having my camera in burst shutter, but also starting that burst before he reaches that location and then continuing it after he's landing the trick, because this was the photo that I wanted to capture, but because I held my shutter down, I also captured this photo, which I actually like a little bit more because there's more of the environment. The bike is closer to the frame, even though the photo is, I think, a little bit out of focus.
So both Stefano and myself tried something new for the first time. Super quick, super unplanned, but sometimes you end up in photo situations that are like that. We're gonna spend a little bit more time shooting with Mike, just grabbing some extra photos, and I'll put all of our best ones on the screen now so you can see what it's like once you've made your mistakes and refined them a little bit. But if you enjoyed this video, let me know down in the comments. And until the next one, grab your camera and what do we say?
Go shoot photos.
Go shoot photos.
All right, you ready? Yeah. There it is. Woo! That one felt good.
That was sick. Sun flare hit.
Oh my dude. That's the shot.
I've seen video clips of people that have like a POV view.
Yeah, I've done it.
Through traffic and shit.
I did it in,
Videos always go viral.
I did it in Barcelona, and that's like one of my most viral videos. It was like one hill from the very top of the city all the way through. It was like 5 minutes just downhill. I ended up jumping over a dog on a leash. Some lady was walking it and it jumped in front of me and I just hopped it.